Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today we are going to talk about one of the most commonly used commands in Hadoop, the word count command. While it's a fundamental example for learning Hadoop, running it successfully can sometimes be tricky due to certain errors. So in this video, I will walk you through the common mistake that occur while running the Hadoop word count command. And most importantly, I will show you step by step how to fix them, and by the end of this session you will have the confidence to troubleshoot and resolve this issue like a pro. So let's dive right in. Let's start by understanding the correct syntax for running the Hadoop word count command. The general structure is as follows: Hadoop space jar, then jar path, then command, then input path, and then output path. You can see the command here. Let me break it down for you. Hadoop jar is the command to run a Hadoop job, and the jar path specifies the location of the jar file containing the word count program. Word count is the specific program we are executing from the jar file, and the input path is where the input file resides in HDFS, and the output path is where the program output will be stored. Now this command is correct, and if everything is in place, it will run successfully. However, if there's an issue with any of these components, the command will fail, leading to errors. So let's explore those errors one by one. The first common mistakes people make in providing the wrong path or name for the jar file. Here an example. At first glance, this command might look fine, but notice that the jar file name is incorrect. Instead of referring to the word count example file, it's pointing to a different jar file, Hadoop MapReduce client app. When you run this, you will get an error that say the word count class cannot be found. This is because the specified jar file doesn't contain the word count program. It's a very common error for the beginners who might accidentally use the wrong file name or path. So how do we fix this? The solution is simple. Ensure that you are using the correct path and the jar file. For example, here I have specified the correct jar file, Hadoop MapReduce example, then 3.3.6.1 and jar. This jar file contains the word count program we need. Once you make this correction and run the command, the job will execute successfully, as you can see in the terminal output. The next common error occurs when the input path specified in the command doesn't exist in the HDFS. Let's look at this example. Here, the input path user Hadoop and input underscore 2 is supposed to contain the file we want to process. But if that path doesn't exist, or if there's no file in that directory, the command will fail with an error message. It will say something like input path does not exist. This error usually happens when we forget to upload the input file to HDFS or mistype the directory name. To fix this error, we need to make sure that the input path and the file exist in HDFS. So here what you need to do, first create the input directory in HDFS using this command HDFS space DFS space -mkdir space -p and the path. The -p options ensure that the parent directory are created if they don't already exist. Next, upload the input file to this directory using hdfs space dfs space -put space data.txt. This is the text file and the path. And finally, verify that the file is present in HDFS with this command HDFS space DFS space -ls space and the path. Once you have uploaded the file and confirm its presence, you can run the word count command again. Now that the input file is in place and the command will run successfully. This time the job complete without any error and the output is stored in the specified output path. Another frequent issue occurs when the output path already exists in HDFS. Here an example. If user slash hadoop slash output underscore 4 already exists, the command will fail with an error saying output directory already exists. Hadoop doesn't allow overwriting existing output directory, so you will need to take care of this before rerunning the doc. To resolve this issue, you have two options. Remove the existing output directory using hdfs space dfs space -rm space -r space and the path. The -r option ensures that the directory and its content are deleted recursively. Alternatively, specify a new output directory. Both approaches will work, so you can choose whichever is more convenient. After fixing the output path issue, you can rerun the command successfully. Here's what it looks like in the terminal. And as you can see, the job runs smoothly and the output is stored in the new directory. Now let's move on to the another common problem, permission denied issue. This error typically occurs when the user running the Hadoop command doesn't have the required permission to access the input or output path in HDFS. Here is an example command. When you run this, you might encounter an error that says permission denied. This indicates that the directory has restricted permission and the user Hadoop is not allowed to read its content. So this error is quite common, especially when multiple users are sharing the Hadoop environment or if strict permission policy are in place. To resolve this permission denied error, we need to grant the necessary permission for the user to access the directory. So use the chmod command in HDFS to change the directory permission. For example, here HDFS space dfs space -chmod space -r 755 space and the input path. The -r option applies the change recursively to all files and directories within this path, user Hadoop and input. And the 755 permission allowed the owner to read, write and execute while others can only read and execute. Once you have adjusted the permission, rerun the word count command and this should solve the issue and allow the job to proceed without error. Now let's talk about a syntax related issue. Missing argument. This occurs when the required argument for the word count command are not provided. Here is an example of problematic command. Notice that the input and the output path are missing in this command. When you run it, Hadoop will throw an error that looks like this. This error indicates that the program expects at least one input path and the one output path to be specified. Without this argument, the program doesn't know where to read the data from or where to store the data result. Fixing this error is straightforward. Ensure that all the required arguments are provided in the command. By adding input path and the output path with this correction, the command will execute successfully and the word count program will proceed the data as expected. That brings us to end of this tutorial. We have covered several common errors that you might encounter while running an Hadoop word count command, including issue with jar paths, input path and output path, permission and syntax. More importantly, we have learned how to fix each of these errors step by step. So thank you for watching this video. Found it helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comment below. And see you in the next video.